Alright guys, welcome to my nightmare. I'm on the Hemi engine, so I thought I'd do a quick little video, show you what we're dealing with behind the scenes as far as fabricating a manifold for this. To make it even worse, this is actually an assembled engine. I don't like doing this because you have to be super clean. We have to keep the motor covered at all times. We have to do all the fabrication off the motor, clean it all, bring it back, measure it, try again if it's not right, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's not the way I'd like to do things, but there was a head change, and the manifold they had made, being one that it's not great in the first place, and second, it didn't actually fit his new cylinder head choice. And this is a 2000 horsepower twin turbo Hemi, so we really need it right. So I'll show you what I'm actually dealing with. I'll turn the camera around and yeah, have a look. So this is the intake that they originally had. Yeah, wasn't overly happy with it at all. Really short runner, huge cross-sectional area. The distance here is a little close, throttle body to front cylinder, so that one will tend to get washed out a little bit. But as you can see inside the manifold, even the transition radiuses haven't even been really done. It's more of just like a tiny little 45. And the problem with this is it'll act big till it doesn't. And by that I mean, while the air is very slow, we'll have no inertia whatsoever. Then as we start to rev the engine, the air will create that vena contractor, that waterfall effect, and it'll restrict the runner and then make it look a lot smaller. So that shortens the power window. So yeah, there's quite a few things wrong. And also the angle of the runner, it comes off the head and instantly turns up around about 25 degrees, which is a huge no-no because you're slamming air into the floor, and it'll also make it skip off the short turn. So as the air's coming in here, it gets hit into the floor. The air starts to compress along the floor and then wants to spring off the short turn, which is exactly what we don't want because that increases our separation off the short turn. Anyway, here we are with the engine. As you can see, I've got a longer runner in it. I'm going to an internal bell mouth raised runner inside it. This is the actual plenum shape that we're going to have, so it's going to be a floating plenum. I've got to try and do it out of one piece. So I've had to measure off the cylinder head, measure the difference in heights, and to add to the problem, as you can see, I've kicked these a little bit, so that spillback mechanism isn't going to blow into this runner. So it's going to blow past it, this one will blow past, so we'll have boom, 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 boom. And I've just tacked two in place so we can do some measurements, I can get the floor height, and I can make this full length plenum. But we just do a test. I've checked the volume. I want this thing at about 100% of engine volume, no less than 80. So that's the window I'm shooting for. Throttle body position he wants fairly similar. I really don't want it too close to the cylinders, but being that it's a raised trumpet inside the manifold, this tends to help that pressure balance front to back. And being we're stuck to that 200 millimeters roof height, we're not going to be able to get a lot of taper in this plenum at all. So these protruded bell mounts will help with that, because as I've explained before, air can travel under, and these explosions or spillbacks coming out tend to disturb airflow trying to get to the back cylinders, but we can flow under, around, and this will tend to help balance the manifold front to back. Because with any biased throttle position, so something at the front here, it'll always tend to feed the front cylinders better than the back. So this is what we've done, and as you can see, that's going to be the plenum there. So hopefully I get it right the first time. If not, there'll be lots of swearing and cursing. Cheers.